All eyes on base. Tune in. Press play. All is alpha on the way. Don't blink. Just stay. Oh, yeah. Got my coffee and my tabs up. Charts on the screen trying to level up. Base junkie breaking down that April crypto now we're turning threads into similar. What's a bull, what's a yield, what's a peg mean? They turn the jargon into real life scenes. From airdrop dreams to blue chip streams, they map it all out, now we all on the team. From what is gas, so check my stats. From I don't get to run that bag. All eyes on base. Stay locked in. Learning Defi while the beats stay bumping. Oh yeah. From the first little back to a major move. Base junkie, now we got something to prove. Get your notes right. Turn that late night scroll to a smart life guide. We just press play, let the questions fly. They explain that yield while the numbers climb high. Click connect, now I see the pool flow. Two-side deposit, watch the tokens grow. LP tokens in my wallet, feeling brand new. Fees dripping in while I'm chilling with the crew. Talking risk and permanent. What that do? They slow it down till the smoke shine through. From rug red flags to the gems in the rough, they keep it real clear so the fans stay up.
Yo! And welcome to this week's edition of Our Eyes on Base DeFi, the weekly DeFi show where we cover the latest and greatest things that are happening in DeFi. And of course, my co-host Crypto Noah gives us a deep dive into some hot topics. Now, guys, just as we are getting started, make sure you show some love and smash that retweet button. Let's get the good word out there in these sideways markets, because as you guys know, there are multiple ways to diversify and generate revenues in crypto. Not just token up, not just shorting the market, but also providing liquidity for those sideways days. So anyway, that's what we love to get into. But without any further ado, let's pass it over to my wonderful co-host, the man of the hour, Mr. Crypto Noah. How are you, my friend?
Man, you just made me think of a rhyme. Them sideways days be them days that pays. But other than that, man, I've been doing good. We just had an interest rate pause again, so the markets didn't like that. But it's some cool stuff I got to talk about that I got for you guys here on the show today. Per usual, for the whole reason why you guys came out here, I woke up with this feeling of calm. So I'm like, what shirt can I wear to express that? And I found this shirt that I got at ETH Denver. It says Zen AF from Horizon. My first time wearing this shirt. It fits like a champ. I don't think it's anything on the back. But yeah, I got some cool stuff for you guys today, man. We got some cool stuff we're gonna talk about as well after we get into that. How you doing today, man?
Dude, I'm doing all right. I'm doing well. So part of me feels like it's a fantastic day, and part of it is just like dealing with the minutiae of life. I'm a laptop down, so for a crypto worker, that's my tool. So doing the live stream on the phone. Also, my main computer has not been working to its optimal capacity, so I bought a new graphics card for that, and finally that arrived. And only to realize that the issue with it is I need a new RAM. So I'm like, So, opportunities come with the one hand and then expenses with the other. So, but hey, got my health, and, it's been a tumultuous week in crypto. I mean, the world is falling apart. Huge things in the world, but also within the base ecosystem. Now, I can talk a bit more about that later on in the show. A bit of, butting of heads within the community. But yeah, lots of juicy things happening this week.
Definitely a juicy week for crypto. A week in crypto is like a year normally. So today I was thinking, like, man, what's something good to talk about today? Since you mentioned the sideways market, today I want to talk about Aerodrome versus Uniswap. Who wins the liquidity war on Base, right? And this is designed so that I can basically show the audience how to teach or how to analyze and basically be able to make money off of this thing, because this is a DeFi show. So where are the smart LPs getting paid, right? The most important thing to keep in mind is that every DeFi ecosystem lives or dies by liquidity, just like the financial ecosystem. Like, liquidity is the lifeblood of the financial system, just like blood is the lifeblood of us, if that makes any sense. And on base, there is a war happening right now, and for a long time, and it's Aerodrome versus Uniswap, right? One uses emissions and voting power, and the other one uses brand and deep liquidity. And today we're just going to break down like who's winning, how they make money, and where liquidity providers actually get paid, right? So first thing, why is liquidity so important in DeFi? Well, it's pretty obvious. DEXs live on trading volume. Traders go where liquidity is the cheapest, right? If I'm a trader, I want to get the least amount, pay the least amount of fees. And then liquidity goes where liquidity providers are best paid, right? And therefore, incentives shape the entire ecosystem, right? So it's like whoever controls liquidity controls DeFi. So as far as Uniswap on base goes, they have a global brand, they have deep cross-chain liquidity, they have the simple constant product, AMM, which they invented in DeFi at least. And then liquidity providers earn swap fees only, right? There's no native incentive token on base as far as Uniswap goes. Now with Aerodrome, and guys, remember, Aerodrome just put another flag on their pellet in the war through integrating with base, because now they're getting retail liquidity because they're integrated. So when people go on Coinbase and buy, let's say Tibber or some altcoin that isn't on the Coinbase exchange yet, it gets routed through Aerodrome, and Aerodrome makes money off of that. So does Coinbase. Okay. So, and Uniswap doesn't have that benefit, right? So as far as Aerodrome goes, it's built specifically for base. They have the V3 model from Curve and Solidly, pioneered by Andre Cronje, if you guys know who that is. And LPs earn swap fees, they earn Aero emissions, and important one, bribe incentives, right? So the governance controls where the rewards flow. So if you have to like categorize both of them, Uniswap is passive liquidity and Aerodrome is more incentivized liquidity. Okay. So how does this V33 model actually work? Because it can be confusing. So just to simply break it down, you can lock your Aerodrome tokens, and then you get VE Aero, which stands for Voted Escrow Aero, which is your voting power. All right. And these VE Aero holders vote weekly on which pools get emissions, right? And then you have protocols that bribe voters to attract liquidity. So if I'm like some other DeFi protocol, let's say I'm Fireside, and Fireside is a DeFi project, and we want to bootstrap our liquidity. We're going to bribe these VE holders and be like, hey, vote for the emissions for the Fireside ETH pool. We'll give you this, we'll do this, right? So this stuff is happening all the time behind the scenes. Liquidity providers follow emissions, and then the volume follows LPs, right? And it's, to give you guys like a visual metaphor, it's like directing water and irrigation canals, right? Like voting directs the yield with these incentives. So why does this attract capital to base? You have new protocols launching on base that need liquidity, right? They buy or borrow voted escrow Aero voting power. They bribe voters, their pools get emissions, and then liquidity shows up instantly, albeit they're probably mercenary. It's probably mercenary liquidity versus missionary liquidity. The difference between that is mercenary, they only care about profits. Missionary, they're about the mission, about the why of the project. They believe in it. They're diamond hand in it, diamond liquidity providing, whatever you want to call it. And the result is that base gets rapid self-reinforcing liquidity growth. Now, as far as Uniswap's counterplay goes, they have this massive existing user flow, right? They were first mover advantage, right? They pioneered the concentrated liquidity in DeFi, and they had like a patent on it for a while, and they were only ones doing it for a while, then that went out, right? Aggregators still route volume to Uni. The Coinbase app routing integrates Uniswap as well, right? and they have the deepest pool for blue chip assets like ETH USDC and things like that, Bitcoin USDC, Bitcoin ETH, Tether USDC, you know. So key insight, Uniswap wins on organic flow, Aerodrome wins on incentivized flow. So what does this mean for LPs? Well, on Uniswap, it's very simple. It's lower risk, earn only trading fees, and it's best for stable, high volume pairs, right? Whereas on Aerodrome, you have higher yield potential, right? You can earn emissions plus fees plus bribes, and it requires understanding vote cycles, right? It's a more active strategy that gives you higher upside, right? So it's like, if I go on, like, for example, I'm in the ETH tipper pool on Aerodrome. We've been in it since we started the show, and I'm not staking it, because when you stake on Aerodrome, you only get Aero. And the important thing to keep in mind is that if I'm staking and I'm only getting paid in Aero, well, the amount I'm getting paid in Aero, like I said, is based on the VE holders and what they voted for the emissions for that specific tipper pool. All right. So if you want to stake, you want to keep up with the voting to make sure that the yield that you're getting from staking is outpacing the yield that you would make if you hadn't staked, and you're only getting the rewards from the trading fees. Okay. So it can change in any given week. And if the trading fees are higher and the voting emissions are lower, then you're losing money, and vice versa on the other side. Okay. So how can you guys actually make money? Just to give some simple examples. Low risk liquidity provided. You can do a stable coin pool on Uniswap base, ETH USDC, earn consistent swap fees. You want to earn higher yields, you can provide liquidity to top voted Aerodrome pools, right? And then you stake the LP to earn Aero. So if it's, but keep in mind, there is still impermanent loss risk. So like, for example, like let's say Bonk ETH is the top voted pool. Well, the emissions in Aero are going to be really, really high. But if Bonk drops, you still can lose out on your principal. So you still want to take into account impermanent loss and impermanent gain. And then some advanced strategies is to buy Aerodrome tokens, lock VE Aero, and then you can earn weekly bribes in direct emissions, and then you can compound that into more voting power. And obviously, it depends on how much you have to make the strategy worth it, because no one's going to bribe you if you only hold in a few Aero tokens, okay? So the key message here, the key takeaway is that on base, yield is no longer just LPing, it's governance powered yield. And the risk to understand, like I said, emissions decay over time, bribe markets fluctuate, and permanent loss still applies. Governance whales influence the vote the most, just like proof of stake, right? So high yields always come with high responsibility. Well, not always. It depends on what pool you're in and what you're doing. And in regards to who's winning right now, in the short term, Aerodrome is dominating the incentive-driven liquidity. Long term, Uniswap retains default routing flow, and aggregators balance both, right? So I think likely the future is going to be hybrid. Just like, we have multiple regular exchanges. We use Webull, we use Fidelity, we use, what's the other one? Robinhood, right? There's multiple different exchanges. But I think that it's hard to kind of see how this is going to play out, because Uniswap has their Uniswap chain. They have their Uniswap V4 with hooks. Hooks haven't really been built out yet, so we still don't know how that's going to look. A lot of people think they're kind of wasting their time on Unichain, because it's kind of their whole problem. The whole problem that they were trying to solve was like liquidity fragmentation. But that, in my opinion, that's fragmenting the liquidity. Hayden Adams, if you disagree, come holler at us. But just to wrap this up here, and then we can talk through it. Why does this matter for Base's bigger picture? Well, liquidity attracts apps, and then applications attract users, and users attract capital. So this liquidity war is literally building Base's financial gravity, right? And like I said, if you guys want to learn how to make intelligent decisions for your liquidity providing and your portfolio, just scan the QR code and join our free community. And, you can book a call, have a chat with us, have a chat with me and one of our coaches. But yeah, liquidity wars. That's the lesson I have for you guys today.
Man, I like the headline, liquidity wars.
Yep.
For me, with the, like, just like the user experience between Uniswap and Aerodrome, I find the UI just leaps and bounds better on Uniswap.
Way
It's
better.
way better. Like
Way
I
better.
literally, I the first time I loaded up Aerodrome like 2 years ago, I was like, "Is this a finished website?"
Yeah.
Like it's just like super basic and minimalist, and maybe that's kind of, I mean, I'm sure that's the vibe they're going for, but I like a bit more. I don't know, not
Razzle
even
dazzle.
not. I was gonna say pizzazz,
Yeah, a
but
little
just like
razzle dazzle.
little razzle dazzle, just give me something to be like, interested in the website itself. And then like, just the UI, the user experience, and on Uniswap leaps and bounds better. Trading as well on Uniswap, 0% fees, hard to compete with. So for me, as somebody who's not aping with size, and when I say size, I'm talking 5 figures, 6 figures plus. To be interested in getting these VE Aero tokens to, like, be bribed and have a real sway in the which way, like, the voting pool decides. I would just be a minnow. So for me, like, the incentive on, like, being able to, like, govern a token or sort of have my small say, it's not that alluring. I mean, for me, what I would be most interested in is the LP. Now, the Uniswap V4 is something that I I don't completely understand, and I speak to smarter people than myself, and everyone is, like enamored with it. Like, developers love the idea of V4, but exactly as you were saying about the liquidity fragmentation, this has been my personal experience, and just, of like a bit of an L for the V4. Like, for example, just using this anecdotally, Fireside, the Fire token, we set up another LP. We wanted to add liquidity, but the original pool was a V4 pool. And so we had to set up another V4 pool separately. So we had two V4 pools, both with like 50K liquidity each.
Mhm.
And on Dex Screener, for example, it shows it up as like different things, different tokens. So whenever anybody was doing a buy, the buys were getting split. So it led to a lot of confusion, because people might be buying $200 of the token, but when they're looking at the chart, they're only seeing $100 buy, because it's a separate chart that's showing the other $100 buy. So it's just automatically splitting it. Now, it's not really so much of an issue once you sort of like you get past that sort of mental hurdle, like, oh, okay, so it's fragmented here. The buys are just split up. But where the real issue lied was that with the V4s, it just automatically, once the bucket is full, it just overflows to other areas. So at our launch, for example, when the initial LP was getting, hammered with, buys and sells, just being used up really quickly, and the bucket was overflowing. It was overflowing into terrible deal, other buckets, like predatory LP pools, where with like a 50% tax on the tokens, and it was just automatically just overflowing into these buckets. And so people were getting screwed on the trades, and because it was just automatically overflowing into those other LPs in the same transaction. So some of the transaction was being done through the 1% pool, and some of it was overflowing into the 50% pool. And at the end of it, they're like, wait a second, why do I only have 60% of my tokens? So that was an issue I found with V4, just anecdotally.
Yeah, well, not well. It's I'm trying to I made a video on Uniswap V4 hooks and why I think they can like obliterate other dexes like a while ago. And basically, the best way to give you a top-down framework on how to look at V4 hooks, I think once they start getting built out, it's going to create like a moat around Uniswap that's going to make them harder to beat. And what I compare it to is when Apple launched their App Store, right? So, or not even actually launched it, when they made it open for people to make apps on there. So like, Apple had their App Store, and then, they launched it. And initially only Apple was able to create apps on there, right? But then they were like, hey, we're going to let other people create apps on there. And that created a flywheel. People were building these apps, the Facebooks, the Amazons, the Netflix, all these different apps that we use. Apple was the first one to do that. And then the Google Play Store came after. And I think that is exactly what Uniswap V4 hooks is doing for Uniswap. Initially, Uniswap was selecting all of the different fee tiers and things like that. But now Uniswap V4 hooks is basically allowing people to launch their own applications on top of Uniswap and allow people to use them. And when people use them, they incur fees, just like when people buy apps on the Apple Store, they make fees off of that as well. So I just think that we're just still in the early days of it, and we haven't seen like what it's actually going to do. But there's always some killer apps on any ecosystem. It's just a matter of when they're going to get launched. So,
speaking of killer apps, and have you seen this week about Claude bots?
Well, and then one more thing before
in fact, you're right. Let's not jump topic, because I actually have some more topics on this, but the segue was there. But go on, please.
He's like, "Fuck this! You hear about this Claude thing?" No, so another thing to keep in mind, in a war, because it is a war. Uniswap launched concentrated liquidity. Everyone followed. Okay, great. And now Aerodrome is doing this whole thing with incentives, right? They're paying out Aero tokens. Uniswap, if they wanted to, they can do that and blow Aerodrome out of the water, right? They have one of the largest treasuries in all of DeFi. They have billions of dollars. So they could do the same thing if they want to, right? So I think the reason that they're not is because they have something else up their sleeve. I don't know whether if it has something to do with Unichain or something to do with Uniswap V4. But if they wanted to, they could literally copy that same model and do way better, just because they have way more rewards to give out for a much longer period of time. So, yeah.
For me, like with the Uniswap Aerodrome battle, I'm not too fussed about the Aero rewards if it's just for like voting powers, because I don't think, as I said before, I'm not really aping with size. The user experience is better on Uniswap, and a lot more pools are created on Uniswap. So I mean, honestly, like I only go to Aerodrome for Tibber, the Tibber LP pool, because it's over there. Like it really depends on the products. The products that are built and putting their LP on either or, that's going to determine which ones are really being utilized the most. And for me, if I didn't have a strong inclination that usage on Aerodrome will go towards the base airdrop and the Tibber one on there, I'd probably drop it from my day-to-day.
That's true, man. That is true. We'll see how this thing plays out post base token, if people still care.
I mean, like they're very intertwined. I feel like Aerodrome it's a Coinbase Ventures. I think this has like a strong Coinbase Venture backing, so they want to see flows going through Aerodrome versus a separate entity that is Uniswap. But it is interesting that you mentioned about the size of the treasury, because as you mentioned, like Uniswap they have that treasury, they have the pedigree, and they have a better user experience. What's the reason for them not just coming in and stealing Aerodrome's lunch?
Exactly. And then another thing that is we're thinking about is like, what incentives are we going to see with base token and Aerodrome, right? Because right now, like you use Coinbase wallet, you do base transactions for free between Coinbase and the Coinbase wallet, right? They basically incentivize you like, hey, if you do this transaction on base, we'll give you a lower fee. If you take your ETH and you send it to DeFi, you send it on base, no fee. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did some kind of thing to where if you're swapping base tokens, you get some kind of discount for using Aerodrome, so they can disincentivize you swapping it on other dexes. That's just one thing I can think of, but I'm sure.
When you say about discount, like if Uniswap is free, what can the discount actually be? Like actually, like would base even like how can you get that from
Uniswap's
free?
not free. Uniswap's not free. Like even in the Zora ETH pool, that was I think that was a 1% fee tier pool. Like they still have the fee tiers on there. Like they have the 0.3s and the 0.5s. Like it's not free.
But for trading though, it's free on trading.
What do you mean?
As in,
That 1% fee tier that gets paid by traders, and that's how liquidity providers get it.
that's for providing liquidity though. But I just mean like, so let me just, so like mocking up a trade right now. So for example, I just did $10 of ETH to fire and fee free. Network cost 1 cent.
What network?
I'm on Uniswap. I'm on Base. So it says Uniswap apps do not charge fees on any swaps. Learn more. Yeah, dude. Like Uniswap's a great place to trade. Like if you're not looking, if you're not doing like bot trading or like any like sort of high volume stuff. I mean, honestly, like the only places I'm really trading are, and it's not really too popular to say, but I mean, Farcaster. If you have the Farcaster Pro plan, it's 0% fees. Uniswap, 0% fees. Base app, 1% fees. So if I'm doing like small trades and it's like I just have money on my base app and I want to just get a little bit of footprint there, okay, fine. Have 1% of my trades. But the fact is, Farcast is offering 0% and Uniswap's offering 0%. It's like if I'm going to do $1,000 trade, that's $10 I'm saving.
Wait a second. So where is this fee tier coming out? How are they paying this out then? From the treasury or what? Because like the Zora ETH pool that I'm in, it's a 0.3% fee tier. Like how am I getting these yields if the trader isn't paying it and they're not paying it from the treasury? You know what I mean? Like where's the yield coming from?
It would be my assumption. So, okay, I'm just reading it now. So it says interface fee. So it's saying like, the 1% goes straight to the liquidity provider. They don't take a cut on top of that.
For where's the 1% coming from?
So if you're providing liquidity on the token and I'm trading the token, I pay 1% to you, but Uniswap doesn't take anything off the top.
Oh, so they're saying Uniswap doesn't charge any fees, but they still charge the fees from the liquidity providers.
Yeah, so it's got a so it's got like a little table here. Interface fee, Uniswap Labs, interface and wallet takes 0%, or the DeFi up to 1%, CeFi up to 2%.
Interesting.
So yeah, so it's just peer-to-peer, liquidity providing and receiving the benefits. They're not making the money on the fees.
That's good to know.
But it also begs the question: where are they making? How are they generating income then?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You know,
Maybe they're I know you can stake your Uniswap now, right?
that could be it. You know, I had a meeting with Flaunch way back in the day. When I was early days of Fire, like pre-launching, you know, I had a meeting with Flaunch. I spoke with Jack from Clanker, and then I spoke with Michael Marr from District. And I ended up choosing District because of, you know, Michael Marr, just really just very inspirational person. But with Flaunch, they charge 0% fees, and they would have taken 0% off the launch fees as well, which was like, okay, well that's wonderful, but what's in it for you? And then they were saying that they make their money from the staked ETH, or like the ETH that's locked up by providing liquidity. So they then put that into DeFi, earn an income from that, like a low income, but they're like, if we get $1 billion in Ethereum, then we'll be generating X amount, X many millions in just passive income, and that will be our business model. Just grow the treasury of ETH so that we can just live off and grow with the interest.
Yeah, I'm doing a quick. That makes sense. Huh.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you said front end.
Uniswap's on a whole another level, so they
They
may be realizing that vision.
Yeah, they like you said, they do their front interface fee. They license their technology, right? The V4 code based to institutions and other platforms, so they make licensing fees. Uh, the value of Uni token, they probably borrow against that and use it to buy more, and they probably do DeFi strategies themselves, I'm sure. So yeah, interesting. Well, I guess we talked about the wars enough. Let's talk about this. Unless you had anything else to share on that, let's talk about the Claude. And I had saw this. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. You know, we always show the top yields in DeFi on base. This is the base show, and every day I look at this yield hunter tool, and I'm like, what tokens are which pools are playing out the most? And I go and research them, and I came across this Claude one. This is the second best pool in DeFi right now, 5,884% APR right now. Right. And if we go to Claude here, you can see that price. Base Junkie, he found it last night. Didn't tell a brother, but that's okay.
I tweeted it out, man. I tweeted it.
No, I'm just joking, man. It's okay. We find stuff all the time. It's like, it will probably feel like spamming. But so if I went to their Twitter here, and it's basically the bot for this guy, Austin Griffith. Good following. He works for the Ethereum Foundation. What's your thoughts on this, man? I haven't finished looking into it, but where are you at with it so far?
So, I mean,
If it's good, I might hop into this LP today. But I'm thinking, like, just looking at this chart, if I go to the 4 hour, this looks like it's correcting a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
$30 million market cap. That's pretty high.
I'm looking at this on like the 15-minute. Like, there isn't enough data to. If you look at the daily, it's just like 2 candles.
Yeah.
But on the 15-minute, you get a bit of a picture. But yeah, honestly, so I first heard about it yesterday morning when I woke up, and I had a quick look, and hang on, let me just fix the layout. Boom. Basically, from what I understand, like, this is a an AI agent that understands it has a wallet, and it's built with he's given it some Ethereum scaffolding and just given it the keys to create. And the developer said to the bot, okay, look, it created its own this token. It receives the fees for it. So like one of the things about the DRB token, because it's compared to it, and over the past couple of days, DRB's really suffered in comparison with it, and some people are saying this is the DRB killer. I disagree with that. They're two different narratives. You know, DRB one tweet changes everything. The Elon tweet it goes mainstream, and also Grok is the richest AI agent. This AI agent though has a lot of money. I don't know exactly how much is in the account, but it's been tasked with creating games that burn its supply. So it's got some deflationary technology, like, and it's just building stuff, and it builds in public.
This one is
Claude.
building games that burn its supply, like just
Yeah.
random games.
So I mean, DRB just exists. It's Grok has a token. He launched a token, but Grok doesn't really interact with it or do anything with it. Just he deployed it. He has the money. That's the narrative. Simple as. Claude is something different. I don't say sentient, but it's aware that it has this money. It can spend it. It can burn it. It has a lot more capabilities. And given the pedigree of the founder, working with the Ethereum Foundation and whatnot, and also being like one of the grandfathers of this type of code, he has a lot of weight in this ecosystem. Lots of Coinbase people have been supporting this. Also, this Claude bots. This is like all over the timeline now. Like people are downloading this. They're getting these Apple mini computers to run these AI agents. A friend of mine, Goya Bean, shout out to Goya Bean. He said he now has 35 Claude bot agents working on stuff for him, and this has all happened in the last 2 days. And this was a banker launch token, same sort of style as DRB. Banker launched this token with Claude, and this is the offspring. It's just and it's if you look at the top 10 trading stuff on Dex Screener, this really is the meta. Most things, Claude, Starkbot, Claude Gang, Ember, Molt, Clauditor. Like this is the talk of the town this week.
Interesting. Yeah.
Do I think it's a buy right now? Man, I've been burnt so many times. I called this publicly at like 6.9 mil, and I exited around 17 mil. I was like, that's enough profit for one day. I round tripped too much stuff, and I was like, when it comes back down to 10, I'll buy. But this just juggernauted its way to about 40 mil, and I think like, if you want to do some technical analysis on this, if the chart's not too fresh, I mean, it looks like it's finding support. I guess maybe like 21, 22 mil. Right now it's at 27.
Well, I mean, it hasn't even been 24 hours yet, right?
No. This is an old token. It's been about 40 hours.
It's an old token.
Yeah, it's not some 24-hour young fresh token. This has been around for almost 4 years.
Age like double dog years.
Yeah, literally. But I am seeing stuff about Stark bots. I don't know. I just saw it in a group chat. I haven't looked into it. This is caught some fire. But anyway,
So
not financial
are
advice.
people using the bot, and are people playing these games, and are tokens getting burned? Do you know?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Wow. Okay. Where is it? Where can I find one of these games?
So I think you need to go to was it Austin's page, or
Okay.
even I think CodeBot has a page,
I'm gonna
like a
pull. I'm
Twitter
gonna pull. I'm
page.
gonna share my screen, and you want to just point me to it, or we can see it. Everyone can see it.
Well, I haven't played it. I just saw that this is live.
Okay. All right. So I'm sharing my screen. I'm on Austin's page. There. I'm back at Claude's page now. So I probably have to click this link here, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Let's see.
You're on CodeBot's ATG.
Yeah, this is just like the ENS info. It looks like here.
All right, let me
Contract address. They give you a clinker link. Let me see.
wait. So it says right. Are you on CodeBot's ATG.eth.limo?
Dot limo. Let me put a dot limo. Hold on. Like LIMO.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing here.
It says right now the only official place I ship apps is CodeBot's ATG.eth.limo.
You want to drop that link in chat?
I'm on my phone, remember?
Oh yeah, shit.
It says requested ENS name does not have a content hash set. Perhaps I misspoke, but I was just reading at the time what was on the timeline.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on this one.
Yeah, so I think within the last hour it was up to 26, up 10% in the last hour, just since starting. But yeah, cool. It's the talk of the town right now.
I can see.
Well, dude, let's put a nice bow on this. It's 10 p.m. I'm on day 3 of the Incubase base batches. I guess was it incubator program. So I need to prepare for tomorrow. It's been good so far. It's been good. They gave me like today we had a talk with fantasy football. No, sorry, football.fun.
Okay.
Interesting project. And yeah, at the end of the 2 weeks, we're gonna have a Y Combinator style pitch session. So I need to start prepping some stuff. I got another busy day tomorrow, just some IRL responsibilities, but I do need to crack on. But before we close out, do you have any final words, any final thoughts to leave us with?
No, just join our free community. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram. We're Noah Owls everywhere. I'm Crypto Noah or Crypto.Noah everywhere. Crypto Noah 11 on Twitter. And yeah, we're just building up an army of liquidity providers and investors and helping people to manage their portfolio like institutions. So if that sounds like it could be of value to you, we'd love to help you, love to meet you.
Dude, I just realized we didn't even talk LPs today. Like,
No, we looked at the
the code one, the code LP,
yeah,
5,000%.
yeah, we looked at that was like the top base yields. My Zora pool isn't paying. I pulled some money out of it and got into a pool on Binance Smart Chain actually, and it's like in the top 10 pools in all of DeFi right now. I've been in that pool for like a week. That thing's been paying out on average 2,000% APR for like over a week straight.
Well, dude, that's tasty.
Yeah, we called it out in our community. So this is the base show, so I'm not gonna mention it. but it's in our community, and my ranges are in there if you want to go on there and check. But and I made a video. I made a video on it on my YouTube video or on my YouTube as well. But yeah, the base yields. I might hop in that Clinker pool. I'm gonna do some more or Claude pool. I'm gonna do some more research on the project and see if I can cycle some more out of my Zora pool because it's paying like 25% right now. I'm not selling my Zora bag by any means because I still believe in it, but the liquidity pool has just been like not good.
Yeah, I mean, so I switched my pool. So I closed my Zora pool and I just bought straight Tibber because
Crypto,
like 15%, 15 cents feels like rock bottom. And I remember being really gutted, in fact, when my Tibber ETH pool, when it went to the upside, like to 22 cents, and it was like this could be it. But now it's completely out of Tibber. I was like fully in ETH, and I was like, oh man, am I going to be sidelined? I know it's good tech. I know it's going to melt faces at some point. Am I completely sidelined? And I was like, you know what? No, it won't be me. So yeah. I'm out of Zora. No one's really using it these days. No shade, but it's not the meta. You know, I think it really did implode a bit with the whole Nick Shirley thing. That was kind of like the make or break for it. I mean, we've spoken before about that, but you know, the waves have moved on a bit. You know, like now it's on AI agents, and more people are vibing with that.
Crypto is such a crazy place. The waves have moved on a bit. It's been a week and we haven't heard anything. No, you're right. I think that they're still doing some stuff behind the scenes, and it's still like new features every here and there. And I think that once the base token is out, there will be incentives for people using Zora and probably holding Zora. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, never say never. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think it's a cool concept. I think it needs a little bit of tweaking. I think it's a great concept to, like, you know, help small to mid-sized creators earn money. You know, just it needs a bit of tweaking. I think with so many launch pads and so many new tokens everywhere.
They need to create like a Zora University where they can show people how to use it and grow on there, because the algorithm is like, I keep seeing this fucking lady with these huskies on here, and I'm like, man, why am I seeing her every day and she's just walking these fucking dogs? Like, people need to learn how to crack the algorithm so it can be competitive.
Dude, I keep seeing a guy eating fruit, and I'm just like, fuck, like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's like the algorithm needs some work, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same with the base app, but you know, it's building in public. You know, I mean, I'm giving base app the benefit of the doubt here because they launched in more or less in beta. It's not a finished app, and I think they have said that. You know, but they're building in public. They've opened it up, kinks and all. You know, but yeah. Anyway.
Well, cool, man.
All right, man.
Good luck on the incubator. Hopefully you win. And
that's the plan, man.
Yeah, man. We'll be talking soon.
All right, sounds good, brother.
All right.
And I want to say thanks to everybody who tuned in today. 104 live listeners. Hope you got some value out of this, and make sure to join Noah Owl community and learn more about DeFi. And also, I'm going to be hitting you up about that BSC pool, 2,000%. That's very tasty, you know, regardless of the chain. Anyway, until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, but most importantly, stay based. Peace out, everyone.
Out.
I'm a baseline junkie. I'm a baseline junkie. Tell him again. I'm a baseline junkie. Tell him again. And I like it funky.